Hello, welcome to Oracle DBA02pro.com. This is Hassan Mir. In this tutorial, we'll talk about database administration. Few words about relational databases. Relational databases are based on Court's theory given in 1970s. Data is stored in tables within relational databases, and the only way to talk to relational databases is through SQL commands or structured query language commands. If you want to retrieve data, insert data, modify or remove data, you have to issue SQL commands. Okay, so there are other kinds of databases as well, like flat file systems and object-oriented databases, but mostly relational databases are used these days. So let's talk about where Oracle database fits into the big picture. So there's a big market for relational databases. 50% of the market is occupied by Oracle database. Okay, so it has a big market share. Other players are DB2 and Informix. Both are owned by IBM. Microsoft has their own database called SQL Server or SQL Server, and Sybase has their own database called Sybase database. Okay, so Oracle Corporation's flagship product is Oracle database, which has 50% of the market share. So it's very popular database since the beginning, and they were the first player to introduce relational database in the market. Although Cord was IBM scientist, he introduced a relational theory, and Oracle was the first to leverage that concept into the product. Okay, so learning Oracle database administration makes sense because it's a large database, and the market is going to be there for Oracle database administrators. Okay, so let's see where database administrator fits into the big picture. This is the database. It has data within the database, like yellow circles are representing data within this green database, and this is application server. So we have lots of applications running here, represented by the yellow box, and applications are talking to the database through the network. Okay, so the person looking after the health of the network is network administrator, and a person responsible for developing applications or to modify existing application is the application developer. It could be more than one application developer. Person who is responsible for the health of applications, security, and their up and running, and their configuration, that would be the applications administrator. Okay, for example, Oracle applications have their own system administrator. SAP has their own SAP administrator, and so all big applications and maybe small applications have their own administrator as well. So DB has nothing to do with the health of the applications. A project manager is looking after the overall project, and he has an eye on basically everybody. If it's not a project, if it's an ongoing support operation, then maybe the IT manager is looking after everybody, what's going on in each area. Now, talking about database health is very important because database is guarding your data, and data is everything. Okay, so DBA is responsible for looking after the health of the database. Okay, so that's where database administrator fit in. Okay, now if you want to break the responsibility down into a list, so this would be the list of main responsibilities of a DBA. Okay, DBA is responsible for recovery of the database if database crashes. Like it has to be in a acceptable time that has already been agreed upon by everybody. That if 2 hours of downtime, then database has to be recovered in 2 hours. So it may involve bringing up some other machine because maybe your existing machine has crashed. So either you have a standby database running which is mirroring your production database, or you have to copy all the data, or whatever mechanism you have in mind. This DBA's responsibility to make sure the data is recovered. Data integrity is also role of responsibility of a DBA, that whatever data is there in the database is true and is making sense in comparison to the other data in the database. Okay, it has to be maybe the point in time data, or it has to be true data. It has to make sense. Okay, so it also involves making sure that data files are not corrupted, because corruption could cause disintegrity of the data. Now, security is also responsible for is also responsibility of a DBA, that only those people are accessing the database who have privileges. Only those applications are accessing your data that has privileges, and only that part is accessible that has been allowed by the administrator to certain application or users. Okay, so security is very important. Availability is also very important, and responsibility of a DBA. Like, if you have agreed that database will be up 99% of the time in a week or in a month, then it should be up and running. Okay, you can't bring it down for maintenance purposes. Quite often it has to be in acceptable limits. Performance is also important. Performance may include two parts, like working with application developers to make sure their SQL commands are properly tuned and it's written in the best manner possible, so that the retrieval is fast. And it may also involve back-end tuning, where application developers are not really involved, and you make sure the database is configured in the sense in a way that the overall performance is most efficient. Now and then DBA has to work with programmers when it comes to data modeling. If new applications have been designed or are being designed, or if existing applications are being modified, maybe data model has to be rewritten. Data model is the structure of the tables, what columns should be there in the table, and how tables should be connected, linked to the other tables, etc., etc. Okay, in some companies, application developers take the whole modeling, data modeling responsibility. In some companies, DBAs have to work with application developers. So it all depends on whatever the environment is. But you will be as a database administrator assisting programmers now and then when it comes to data model. Okay, so that's pretty much it. In my subsequent tutorials, I'll be gradually in a step-by-step manner making you a professional Oracle DBA. So if you complete all the tutorials, you will be a confident professional Oracle DBA. Okay, so for more tutorials, you can visit my website, oracledba02pro.com. All tutorials are free. I'll see you in my next tutorial.